All right, we're good.
Hey, welcome. We are live. This is episode 357 of the IT and the D Show. We are broadcasting live from our homes. This is Bob the Sales Guy. That is Dave the Geek. Randy at Do the Twitters is doing the Twitters. Find us online at itinthed.com and do us a favor. Give us a like on the socials and subscribe to us everywhere. Fine podcasts are sold.
Yeah, and so, yet again, this is where we usually talk about events, and we ain't doing them right now. So we are hopeful that we'll be doing those again in August. We're going to see how all this shakes out. You guys know as well as we do. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. Our bars and restaurants going to stay open. Our school's going to open. Who knows? We're going to see what happens.
Is anything going to open?
Yeah, no kidding.
No, right now, tentative, I think we're either going to do Nancy Whiskey's on the patio, and I wouldn't be opposed to DSC now that they have that back door or the back alley beach party thing going on. That wouldn't be a bad idea either. So
yeah, and it's decent. Even the indoor courtyard is really wide open. There's that's that whole space too. That's the issue with booking something outdoors is you're weather dependent. DSC wound up closing all their restaurants and stuff on Sunday because of all the rain.
Did they really?
Well, it's the thing. If you have no indoor seating, what are you going to do?
Dave, you know how bored we all are as a society?
How bored are we?
We are so bored that Netflix has put on Supermarket Sweep from the 80s, and I'm watching.
It's bad enough that it's on. It's worse that you're watching.
Do you remember?
Yes. No, I do. Are you about to say? Do you remember the time?
Yes.
No.
No. So I was going September. Actually, you were going Michael Jackson, but that's okay. Here's how bad this show is. Like the guy the host is dead inside. Like you're watching.
Oh, you can tell.
He's reading cue cards, and
he had such high hopes of being Gene Rayburn, of being, the guy from Joker's Wild, of being right. Pat Sajak, but no, he's the Supermarket Sweeps guy. That's the gig he landed.
You can hear it in his inflection how dead he is inside.
Oh yeah. He's not well. Someone should check on him and see if he's doing okay.
And I don't know who's dressing these people. These people were wearing different colored sweatshirts, like a purple and a pink and an orange one with white polos underneath with the collar flipped out. And they're like, which of these three items is over
Bob
$2?
Bob, it was the 80s. People wore that.
that.
I didn't say you did. I didn't, but people wore that. It was a thing.
Oh, no, and Mark did the best line. He goes, why does all the women on the show look like Marcy Darcy?
Oh, they absolutely do. They, yeah. No, I've clicked through a couple episodes. They absolutely do.
Here's the best part. Like, you have to load up your shopping cart and get the most expensive crap. So, like, everyone, all they have is these carts full of hams and diapers.
They run to the meat aisle and load up on all of the roasts and the ribs and the
ham
and the hams and the turkey. It's ridiculous. It's yeah. If you've never seen it and you want to see the kind of shit that we were stuck with in the 80s, go check out Supermarket Sweeps and then feel bad for us.
And I'm like, why don't they go after the scallops instead of the hams? Then they're in the diaper aisle. I'm like, why don't they go after the Similac and not the package of diapers? They got a shopping cart they got to fill. You know what I mean? Anyway, I can't believe that's on Netflix.
Who knows? I would love to know what they paid for the rights to it. Like, I don't know what, $6?
50 cents for the $6?
Who even knows? God, there was something else that was on here. And speaking of 80s, and I'm kind of mad about this. A Fletch reboot,
dude.
A Fletch reboot.
Don't know.
Starring Captain Madman.
Yeah, John Hamm.
Not feeling this. Not feeling this at all.
Can't they just make a movie with John Hamm that's kind of like Fletch, but it's not?
Yeah.
Like a spiritual of a reboot.
Or here's the thing, or if it's his nephew, like remember, like my Ghostbusters with the women.
Yeah.
I would have loved it if they would have just been like, hey, my uncle
the kids
did this.
Or the
or the nephew and did this thing, and then we're gonna do it too. Like, if it's just a ripoff,
Well, which I think they're finally doing with the newest one, which is it's the grandkid and
of
his
what?
friends. I think it's Egon's grandkid.
Oh, the Ghostbusters. Yeah. After everyone screams at them, they're like, "Why didn't we think of that?"
I don't know why we didn't do that. We were stupid.
And like,
Derp.
yeah, it was a long time dream of mine to produce this film with John. Give me a break. Like, honest to God.
It could have been. Well, and reading that whole story about how they had Kevin Smith attached to it,
Right?
He really wanted Jason Lee in the role, which honestly I could see. Like
that would have been great.
That makes more sense. That makes a shit ton more sense to me than John Hamm. And then good old Harvey Weinstein put the kibosh on that and demanded that Ben Affleck take the role.
Gross.
And which again, I can't see Ben Affleck. Like I said, you can't have like a stereotypical, and I almost, but I mean, Affleck's always been kind of a pretty boy. You can't have a pretty boy in that role. That's not what that is.
But yeah, you get John
Chevy
Hamm.
Chase. Chevy Chase is not a pretty boy.
No, not at all.
Ain't nobody on this planet calling Chevy Chase a pretty boy.
He's good looking for a dad guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you need like kind of the dad. I just whatever. I was not a fan. I'm not going to be a fan. I'm not going to go see it.
You know who I wish would kind of take the Chevy Chase kind of like role? God, who's the guy that plays Barry? Name just farted on me. I can't think about
Barry and what?
HBO, the show Barry. He was on SNL. He always does.
Bill Hader.
Thank you, Bill
yeah.
Hader. Like, I always wished he would get more bigger roles because I always liked him. But do you want to feel really old? By the way,
no, I really don't. Can we stop it? Because
yes.
like all these memes are popping up where the Breakfast Club was 37 years ago today. Oh, the this and that was it was 40 years ago today. Enemy Mine was 39 years ago today. But go ahead, I know where you're going, and screw you.
Jake Ryan, the Jake Ryan is turning 60. Not 16, 60.
I feel like they should do one of those, like, those reunions that are going around, like on all the online reunions, and they should do 60 candles. And and it should be him and like Molly Ringwald, like get them all back together. Getty Watanabe, what's he doing these days anyway? Get him, and just have a little reunion. Anthony Michael Hall will be down to do it. And so I think 60 candles should happen. And if anybody does that, it's mine. I'm just saying it. I called it.
Takes her on a date to sign to the beef carver. They go play bingo after.
No, they go to like Red Naps at 3:00 in the afternoon, or whatever, like a Denny's, whatever.
He's still got the Porsche 944.
Anthony Michael Hall walks out with the underwear that are this wide, or it's a pair of Depends. Whatever. I'm just saying, you could do it. Yeah.
Why don't you write it? You're bored.
I got nothing going on. Yeah.
No kidding, you don't. Are you So I didn't realize I downloaded TikTok just because it was a thing, and I put it on my phone, and I got rid of it, and
it's so addicting.
I thought it was stupid, like just like the stupid dances and crap. I'm like, and then half of them were J-Lo and A-Rod doing stupid stuff, and I was like, whatever, I'm done. But man, this company that like they're seriously under huge scrutiny. Did we for the crap that they're that
well, so and last week, and I actually had this on one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure we got to this one is because last week we had said that Amazon banned their employees and forced them to remove it from their phones.
Right.
They backed off that.
Yeah, 5 hours later.
Yeah.
Well, no, because everyone probably mutinied. Here's the thing: people don't care. Like they really don't.
I don't understand people who use work devices for personal things. I just don't see why that would ever be. You would think that would be a good idea.
I don't even know that it was necessarily on their work devices. I mean, I think they were telling them they had to have it off their own personal devices, and like basically they didn't want video taking place in their locations, which on some level I can understand. I mean, back in the day, the State Department had to ban Furbies. Because, well, they hear things and they remember things and they repeat things, and you don't really want things happening at the State Department to get repeated. So you've got, a corporate espionage standpoint to it. I can kind of understand it. Oh, no, I'm not, videotaping this. I'm just making a stupid TikTok.
Randy, I own Teams for a 6,000 person company,
Mhm.
you'd be shocked how many people were like, no, I don't like my marketing photo that's in my Active Directory and in my email. I'm going to make it a dog, or I'm going to make it my Instagram sexy spec photo.
Yeah.
My Olin Mills, look at me. Like, you know what I mean? And then we're like, you tell them don't do that, and they do it again. Then they, I think it's just nature. Like, you want to make your work PC yours.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's just kind of like but then that's why you have your own PC. Then you don't need to do all that crap on a work one anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So honestly, one of the coolest stories that came out not too long after we did our last episode was there's a jeweler in Michigan that has decided with the whole COVID thing that he's not going to reopen his store. He's not going to go through all this nonsense. And so does he clear all of his crap out, all the jewelry and rare coins and all that stuff out through a wholesale or like lot deal? No. He's gone out with his wife and buried $1 million roughly worth of basically packages, and this is the first one that's coming up is $4,000 in value. So he's buried all these packages with GPS locators all around the state of Michigan, Metro Detroit, all the way up to the UP, all that kind of stuff. And he's running a contest, and it's johnnystreasurequest.com. And he's selling tickets, and so it's kind of ingenious. Like, you do the math, and he's gonna make more money than the $1 million worth of stuff just by selling all the tickets for this thing. More power to him, and it kind of gives people something to do.
Yeah,
Dave, I know you've never done it. Randy, have you ever geocached?
I feel like I went out a few times with a friend who was into it, but not really my thing.
I was always surprised that it didn't catch on more because it always looked intriguing.
It looked interesting, but the payoff wasn't enough. Like, I went 10 miles, through thick forest to find a half-chewed G.I. Joe action figure in a lockbox. Ooh, boy.
Yeah. To find a USB drive that I'm never plugging into my computer.
Yeah, or that, yeah.
So the tickets are $20 a piece?
$40.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading. The price is $4,000, and then okay.
Yes, like just simple basic math. You figure. Even if he's stuck with $4,000 prizes out of $1 million, that's 250 prizes. He sells, 40 tickets a piece, $40 a piece. He sells 50 tickets to each one of these things, and he's clearing over $1.5 million.
And he knows where all the crap is if he doesn't
exactly.
Sell out.
And he said, he does. He says right up front, I've got GPS tags and everything, so I know if any of them get moved. So I think it's a brilliant way. It's unfortunate he's going out of business because he's getting a shit ton of marketing and play out of it. So why not?
Do you think? Here's the thing: he does this, he still goes out of business.
Because he said they want to, because they're closing the store, they're getting rid of the space, and they want to just basically go drive around the country.
It's actually not a bad life.
Yeah, exactly.
128 prizes for the Oakland County event on August 15th, and that's already sold out. So he's got a Mackinac County one now for $65 a ticket.
Yeah, so it's going to be nuts. Good for him. Although I will say this, the geniuses of the week, and I love this story because we all did dumb shit when we were kids trying to get our hands on booze. The kids that are out there that are geniuses taking advantage of the mask regulations and basically throwing a little gray paint in their hair or putting on a full-fledged mask over their faces to make them look older, and then slapping a mask over that, and walking into liquor stores and not getting carded because you see a little old grandma walk in who's going to ask her for an ID. Yeah, genius.
Yeah, the problem is 80-year-old grandma's not buying Hypnotic and peach vodka.
She might be. You don't know. You don't know what grandma's into. Don't judge.
If it's not cheap whiskey, or they're gonna think something's up.
Seagram 7 and a bottle of 7-Up. Yeah.
Oh, 7 and 7 is horrible.
See, back in the day, there was just always that one, like Macomb Meats. There was always that one place where you can get a 24-pack of Bud Light and a 2-liter of Sun Country for $20. It was whatever you could carry out was $20. I don't think those places don't exist anymore. So yeah, good for them for being
being creative. We'll give it that. Yes, they're being creative.
Here's the thing: if my kid ever told me, like, I dressed up like Oma to go to buy booze, I'd be like, you know what? Go in the basement.
I'm not even mad about it.
I'm not Good thing she's not home to hear me say that.
I was going to say, yeah, she's going to listen to tonight's episode and figure it out. That'll be genius. Where do you want to go now?
Anybody interested in a Zoom appliance?
No. Isn't it called your phone?
$600.
Yeah, Zoom has released this $600 device. It's got a big screen and 3 cameras and a microphone, and all it does is connect to Zoom. If you're doing a Zoom meeting, don't you already have a computer or a phone to do it from?
Wouldn't you rather just have like a $250 Chromebook?
That you can connect to Zoom through and be done with it. Well, and and I feel like they're trying to compete with, and this really doesn't, like the Facebook appliances or the FaceTime appliances. Everybody has a little appliance out there, but they're all like $100 max. That to help grandma and grandpa stay in touch with the family and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the Google Home I bought for my dad was like $119.
So I don't get it.
I guess maybe like enterprise, you got a CEO who doesn't know how to check his email, and you just send him a thing to plug in and he's good to go.
You know what I bet it is? It's refurbished Cisco DX80s that they sent the entire company and no one ever used because it didn't have any OS on it. It's probably possible. Cisco. Yeah, I know because those things were like $3,000 at the time, so they're probably trying to recoup some costs. Speaking of that, by the way, it wasn't a news article, but I found out through some friends of mine that Cisco, who's 70,000 employees worldwide, killing their offices. None, zero, everyone. Like literally, they're putting up like 4 hubs, like Chicago, New York, Silicon Valley, and like Dallas or Atlanta or something.
So then everybody else is just virtual,
and that's it. Well, we all worked from home anyway.
Yeah.
When we were there, and the office was a ghost town. There was nobody ever in there.
Well, and and that's the thing. I think realistically, you're gonna see that more and more. You've got all these stories coming out about people letting their employees continue to work from home, and it's going to be our policy from now that's the way it's going to be at least through the end of the year, probably into next year, or we're just saying now it's going to be forever, that kind of stuff. And that's the thing. I think we have give it probably not as soon as 3 months, but like 6 months. You're going to start seeing a huge fallout in the commercial real estate market because you're going to have a lot of space open up. I know 2 different people that own co-working spaces that have had to completely shift gears on their businesses because nobody's co-working, nobody's looking for office space, nobody's looking for that stuff right now.
Dude, I saw a space today, Dave. I didn't look at the space. I just saw it online. 800 square feet. In a co-working space, so it's shared kitchen, shared conference room, shared,
So basically our small studio in Royal Oak, yeah.
Pretty much $3,800 a month.
Good luck with that.
We're like, wow. Who,
You could rent a house for cheaper than that.
You can buy a $500,000 house for cheaper than that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So the one thing that blew my mind last week, and I can't figure it out, and someone needs to figure it out. You guys are smarter than me. I thought of something, and
that's what that smell is.
Yeah, I know. And an ad popped on Facebook, and I never looked at it before, or Googled it, or searched for it, or anything did.
That's just pure coincidence, Bob. That's
bullshit.
No,
I've never seen this thing before, so I'm gonna tell the story. I'm at my buddy's his new office, and he's talking about there being a reception area in the front, and I'm like, I didn't say a word. I didn't. All I was thinking about was, well, instead of hiring a receptionist, I wonder if someone has like an iPad that you can do a check-in and they would ring your phone, like, you know what I mean, kind of more intuitive than
they do. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then sure as shit, the first ad that pops up on Facebook when I get in the car, it's the receptionist. And it's a visitor check-in. Thinking about a visitor check-in system for your organization. I swear to God, I didn't.
So you did have someone in the room that said something about a reception area and a receptionist and that kind of stuff. So it's not like it was. Like that context alone would drive that ad.
It's gone that far where it's somebody that's 20 feet away from me says the word receptionist and that ad pops.
They're always listening.
Oh. Screw you, butthole. They're now great. Now I'm going to get butthole.
Good luck
ads.
with those ads. Yeah, you get Preparation A's ads for the next 12 years.
Speaking of who's not helping, did you listen to the Burger King ad?
I watched it. You shot it. I watched it. I'm sure Randy can shoot the link out. It's
yeah.
basically a dude in a cowboy suit.
No, it's a kid. It's like a 9-year-old kid.
Yeah, singing a song about
Yeah.
cows farting. It's and how Burger King is helping by trying to reduce those
Cow farts.
those emissions. It's like I
It's actually
desperately
kind of
I desperately want to.
It's
Oh,
actually kinda
it's a catchy
catchy.
little song. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm dying to know how much money they paid to make that happen.
the first 3 words are when cows fart and burp and splatter.
Yeah.
That's
Links out on
something that
Twitter.
really matters. Yeah, it's.
Are you really? So now answer me this: as you're taking a bite of your beef burger, are you just thinking about like, is it really well? Are you Ralph Wigguming right now, going, "I'm helping by getting rid of cow farts"? Like
it's not ever at the top of my mind, and the other people that are not helping are people. Stop calling the police department about people not wearing masks. Just stop.
But why, Dave? We're all HOA presidents now. We have to.
It's not the cops don't care if you call. It's not that kind of situation. If the business calls because the person refuses to wear a mask and then refuses to leave their building, they care.
Well, that's trespassing.
But you random person calling the police department about somebody wearing a mask, all you're doing is bogging down their phone lines. Stop it.
Come on, Dave. I want to be an HOA president for a day.
Well, and then let's not forget the it's hard to call her the queen of the Karens because there's a new Queen Karen every friggin' week. But the lady in San Diego that took a photo of the barista at Starbucks and said, "Oh, this idiot won't serve me because I'm not wearing my mask," and gave the kid a really hard time. And then a GoFundMe got set up, and the kid wound up getting like $100,000 to donated to him.
Wow.
She's filing a lawsuit that she wants half of that.
Good luck with it, Karen, Skippy, lady, whatever the hell your name is. I want that money from me causing the problem that I did.
Yeah.
No, can you help me out here again? I'm not the smartest guy in the room. That's obvious. If I see someone that's not wearing a mask,
my first instinct is just to avoid them.
Avoid them.
Stay away from them, yeah.
And I don't understand. I know everyone's losing their minds and shit right now, but again, I think we talked about it last week. When you're in the restaurant and you're thankful that someone's waiting on you, or giving you your anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm so appreciative of anyone that's giving me my anything right now. I can't imagine following them around.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but it's because you're a decent human being, Bob.
I know I am. No, but are people this starved for getting clicks because they want? Is it become this? They see one go viral, so they're like, I want to get one. Is it gone that bad?
I would think some of it is that, and I just think some of it is the I'm helping mentality, and then I would think some of it is, people just wanting to be the white knight, be the savior that's, saving the establishment and everyone around them by being the one to speak up.
Well, the problem is you got 16-year-old kids. Someone came in to where my daughter works, where she's waitressing, and didn't have a mask, and she went over to the manager and said, "Hey, so and then the manager's you can't expect the problem is I hear a lot of these stories are the kids are they're not going to get
I'm not
people's
confronting
face.
a 40-year-old dude
right
wearing a mask. That's not in their job description.
Well, people, I mean, I'm kind of literally she brings out pancakes for this woman, forgot her butter, and instead of just going and be oh, that's okay, sweetie, bring it back, she calls her retarded and literally oh, she went it's her third day on the floor. So she went and told her boss, and they're banned for life. If that lady ever comes in here. But I'm what would possess you to tell a 16-year-old girl that just got her braces removed? I mean, you know what I mean? It's are people losing their and she's waiting on you? You should be thankful you can eat in a restaurant.
I have no clue about understanding people at all right now, ever.
No, I thought I knew people, and then forget it.
Yeah.
By the way, I know we talked about this a long time ago, and we talked about it a couple times, but Apple, and no one cares because you're still going to buy your iPhones, not YouTube.
I'm not.
But they're finally paying up the $500 million settlement. after admitting they throttled their iPhone batteries.
Which, let's be clear, of which you could be eligible for an entire whole $25.
Woo! So basically, it's an iPhone 6, 6 Plus, or an iPhone
within
SE
specific dates. Yeah,
that ran iOS 10.2.1, or later before December 21st, 17. So like, who remembers that shit? What phone you had in 17?
Yeah, this was from a while ago. And, they did, it was in the release notes for like the minor point update, but they didn't really publicize it. And it was designed to keep your phone from crashing, because when your battery is diminished, they would rather keep your phone going than draw enough power to, overload it and cause your phone to crash. So they had a legitimate reason to it, but they didn't really communicate it well to people.
And the best part is the URL to submit your claim is smartphoneperformancesettlement.com.
Good luck typing that out with any mistakes. Oh, hey, before I forget, I meant to mention this when we were talking about events. Our buddies Jamie and Matt that do the Man Cave Happy Hour and our Northville studios and stuff are doing an online event tomorrow with Man Cave Happy Hour. They've got like a liquor rep and a few other people in. So you hit the Podcast Detroit page. It's one of the events there. You can check it out. Go have fun.
Yay, booze.
Guys. Exactly.
What did you think about the Bitcoin hackers and what accounts they got a hold of?
So I honestly, so reading the secondary story that Randy shot across, I mean, they weren't so much hacked as they got a Twitter employee basically to do everything for them. And so, kind of like we talked about, the Snapchat hack, the Snapchat hack, the Instagram hack and all that stuff. They're not really hacks as much as it is an employee with access to inside use only tools that kind of opens things up and gives access to, people access to things they shouldn't have.
Isn't that the definition of hacking though? Social engineering? I mean, it's part of the whole process.
There's a difference between social engineering and like paying somebody to do something for you. That's not hacking. That's
even
crime.
Even more recent now, I believe they had several inside employees instead of just one.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, a genius move. Basically what they did is they took over, what was it, a couple dozen accounts of like very high profile, like Obama, Biden, and
Bill Gates.
And a bunch
Apple,
of like really high profile accounts. And all they did was they sent out a tweet that said, hey, for every $1,000 donated to this account, we'll go ahead and give away $2,000. And so from what they netted $114,000 before this got shut down. So
it was something like 130 total accounts were compromised. Not all of them managed to tweet out that stuff, but
well, compared to all the stupid posts I always see about Bill Gates will give you $30 if you
right.
I'm surprised it wasn't more money. You know what I mean?
Hey, it was a thing. So you shot this across and you didn't have any more info about it. What is this thing about Panera and a $9 a month coffee service?
Oh yeah, I saw it on a billboard and I'm like, I'm in the middle of making fun of everything that's got ass at the end of it. Like
as
everything's
service,
everything's jeans as a service, whatever, butthole as a service. It just
like
never
ends.
as
a service we talked about back in the day.
So I was trying, so like on the billboard this morning, it was coffee. Panera's introducing coffee as a service. It's basically $9, $8.99 a month subscription, and it's unlimited coffee.
If you drink Panera coffee, sure.
So I started doing the math. Like if you got to go twice a week and get their shitty coffee because their coffee sucks anyway. So if you go twice a week, a cup of coffee is like $1.10. So if you don't go twice a week, so I think they're hoping it's like a gym membership. Where you
people sign up for it and then never go.
If you go 5 days a week, it's the best deal in town.
Yeah, but then you're drinking Panera coffee.
Then you're drinking Panera coffee.
And it's only coffee. It's not even tea.
Watch out for any meeting invites or things. Hey, let's meet at Panera. Now you know why.
Yeah.
That's why they're trying to get you there, because they fell for this.
Why?
Because they're the people that signed up for the $9 a month.
Yeah. Because they get their free cup.
Yeah.
It's the old Mark game. It's the hey, I got to buy one get one free coupon. You buy it, I get it free.
Yeah,
I bought it anyway. That's not how it works.
That's not how this is supposed to work.
I know we talked last week about the whole like swatting might be a thing, and I know this isn't really considered swatting, but like the fake calls have begun, and this kid's going to be in deep shit for this one.
Oh yeah. So, and we talked about, the restaurant. It was a couple weeks ago now, I think, restaurants getting phone calls that say, hey, I was in there, and I've popped positive, knowing that it's, they essentially have to shut down.
Yeah. So this is in Ludington. It's up north, and basically a busboy just simply wanted a day off.
Yep.
So he called it in.
Second busiest weekend of the year, traditionally. Yeah.
A place called Timber Seafood and Steakhouse. Looks like a nice little place.
Yeah.
So basically they shut it down. Dude, they had a wedding rehearsal party
They had to
dinner.
cancel a wedding dinner. They had to, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's peak time for them. Yeah, second busiest weekend. Then he confessed to it. But it's now a police matter. And that was the end of the story. You're like, yeah, you send deep doo-doo.
Yeah, that's not going to go well for him at all. And I mean, for what it's worth, I mean, the other one, I mean, who's buying a $60 ticket to Orlando at this point? Really? Like, who is?
So I just for shits and giggles, I was like, I wonder what plane tickets are, right? Because I just looked at Vegas and Orlando, and I'm like, sweet, because Bo's got a couple days off at the end of August, whatever. So we're like, and we haven't taken the kids anywhere. We probably aren't going to. So I'm looking at cabins up north or whatever at this point. And I'm like, would you believe how much a round trip flight is? And I'm like, it's $58 to Orlando.
I see so many people traveling right now. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop that.
Yeah, why would you get in a giant metal tube full of recycled air with strangers right now, especially since they've all announced they're not doing their social distancing thing anymore, and so they're packing people in as much as they can.
Oh, they stopped the middle seat thing?
Yep.
Screw that.
So the other thing is, did you see what people did with the Disney opening video that they've now pulled?
No.
They pulled that Welcome Back to Disney video. I'll shoot you the links. Someone set it to the creepy ass music from The Shining, and it was amazing. Somebody else set it to Don't Fear the Reaper, and it was even more amazing. And Disney has since taken the video down.
Am I the only one that's mad that Rocky Dennis hasn't made a strong comeback during all of this?
From Mask? Nice.
Yes.
That's nice.
Or the 90s cartoon Mask.
That was 80s, wasn't it?
Was it? Late 80s, early 90s.
M.A.S.
Yeah.
With a horrible theme song.
Yeah.
Atrocious. Yeah, no. So Disney has now pulled their official video, but the spoofs and the people laying music into it is just absolutely amazing.
One of the good stories this week is, Google, sometimes they do great things, sometimes they do bad things, but I consider this a great thing. Basically, they announced 100,000 scholarships for online certificates in data analytics, project management, and UX. Apparently, I don't know why they picked those three, if there's the big gap in those.
Probably a big demand for them.
But they're created and taught by Google employees that could be completed in 3 to 6 months, and they're offered through Coursera. And basically, Google says that it will consider all of its certificates as the equivalent of a 4-year college degree for related roles at the company. Like, that's, granted, I went through the whole trying to get hired at Google thing.
Right. Yeah, the 5-month process. Yeah.
I was 3, but yeah, it felt like 30. But to get 100,000 scholarships and just to kind of be in the mix for committing 3 months. What do you got to do right now? We were talking about that, like, hey, what the hell are you doing right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
what you do during the downtime? Yeah.
Right. Took a Coursera course learning data analytics.
Yep.
Cool. Front of the line. You know what I mean? What did
so
you do?
The other part of that Disney story, and I thought this was interesting, is so they've had to basically close a loophole while they're open because they said, you have to wear a mask unless you're eating or drinking. So people were buying a pretzel or buying a drink and then just walking around the park without a mask on.
Is there a word for this, what I'm doing right now?
Uvafangul. That's
Why are you selling this stuff if you can't, like, take 2 steps and that's bad? Like, I like how, did you put a meme up like, cup of beer, bad. Cup of beer with side of fries, good.
That's right. Yeah, beer, you'll get COVID. Beer with a side of fries, you're fine. You're absolutely
pretzel in hand, good. Take 2 steps, bad.
Well, I mean, the whole point is they don't want people walking around the park without a mask on. I mean, I get it, but
Bro,
then
the worst, the saddest thing about this is the that one picture in front of Walt with the castle in the background with the mask on. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing worse than that. Like, when I go back and look at my family photos in 10 years, like if I ever saw that, I'd kind of like, what the, like, what?
why did we go then? Like,
What?
what's wrong
What
with
is
it? Yeah,
exactly? What in the like? Seriously, it's like, do you just want to say that you were there? Because like, there's part of me that's tempted just to like go in
just
there
to
for a
get the
weekend.
selfie.
Well, just to go there and go to Star Wars for a weekend with nobody there. Like, part of me is like, ooh,
Yeah,
but then I'm like, no, because
but
here's the
no.
thing: if I ever then I can't post about it on Facebook, and that's the whole point, is to say I'm there and you're not,
Exactly. Yeah,
and
because
then
then
no
you'll
one will
get
talk
lit
to
up.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna be like a leper stuck in. No one will come near me for 6 months. What's the deal with that couple in Louisville? Did you hear about this?
So they've been charged with basically felony brandishing, as well as
No,
another.
that's St. Louis.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The couple in Louisville that they put ankle. I didn't send the article out, but they put ankle. The hell do you call them?
The tethers.
The tether. Yeah, they put ankle tethers on them because they wouldn't submit to a quarantine because they tested positive and they were supposed to be on like house arrest.
Okay.
But they declined to sign the paperwork. So then they put them
Oh,
on like.
I did see that story, and so I mean, and dude, that's a real thing. I mean, you look at New Jersey, New York. I mean, a lot of the New England states have. There's a 2-week quarantine. Like if you come in, especially if you come in via air, like they're stopping everybody at the airport and having you show your driver's license, where you're from, what are you coming in for. Okay, great. Hope you're prepared for to quarantine for 2 weeks. People are doing whatever they can to try to stop the spread of this nonsense. And yeah, those two folks, like, yeah, they popped positive and just wanted to go about their daily lives like nothing was wrong. That's a problem.
Right. Well, again, that's why I want Fred on the show every week, because I want like misinformation.
I mean, I can make that happen.
No, but like the thing that came out that said all the tests that were going on in Florida, all of them came back positive from like 8 different centers, and it's like, is that real or is that just bullshit?
Well, so
like,
that
I don't
was.
even want to read anything anymore.
I got into a deep dive conversation about that, because if you really read through the articles, where the confusion came in is they were saying, oh, well, all the tests are coming back, like everything is coming back 100% positive from these certain facilities.
Yeah.
Well, some of those facilities only ran 1 or 2 tests. And so it is perfectly conceivable that those 1 or 2 tests were both positive or were positive. And so therefore it is a 100% test rate, test return.
Well, it's kind of like when they said that, okay, we have a vaccine, like that article came out. But then when you read it, it's like they tested 35 people.
Well, and like, it's like I was saying in the email thread, that's actually the vaccine that Fred and I deep dove on a little bit last week, the one coming out of Oxford, where even them, you read it and they say, we're hopeful we have a vaccine ready, by Christmas time, the end of the year 2020. But then you still have that production ramp up time, you have that distribution time, you have the manufacture time, you have all that other stuff. So I mean, it's
well, it seems crazy to me that 35 out of 35 showed fine over a 4-week. Yeah, let's go ahead and order 60 million of these things.
Well, and so and that's also only the first round of testing, because so they know that it produces a response. What they don't know is if that response is enough to inhibit infection. So I mean, that's the next thing they have to figure out is, okay, so yes, you're seeing an immuno response properly from the vaccine, and that's great, but is that immuno response enough to actually keep somebody from getting infected, via, if they're actually exposed to it out in the wild?
Right. Again, can we just have the Fred hotline? Hey, Fred, I saw this meme. What is it?
1-800-CALL-FRED. And we just, yeah.
Because that's the thing. And like, I got half the people in my feed, they only post the shit that they want to believe in. I got the other people posting the crap that they want to believe in. And here I am in the middle just going, what is it? Like, just can someone tell me the guy, well, like what it is? Like, and I know it changes all the time. That's, Science 101.
Well, so
Like,
and that's honestly one of the best memes that's been floating around for the past couple of days. Where the sad reality is you can tell how many people have never really had any exposure to science, because science and I can't how many times have I said this on the show? Science is fluid, but the reality is most people don't see most science. They only see the end result.
do you remember?
They don't see all this stuff playing out in real time like it is now, where, okay, we think it's this, crap, it's not that. Okay, let's go. Now we think it's this. Okay, now this is looking good. Okay, now we got to figure this out. Yeah.
Do you remember in April or maybe March or May, when the phrase of the 2 weeks was the science is settled? That drove me absolutely batshit bonkers.
If I ever heard that, I immediately blocked it out of my mind. There was no way in hell that was possible.
Dude, I think I don't know if we argued about it on the show or not, but that was I remember that was a real thing, and that threw me off because I'm like, wait a minute, that's not science.
Yeah.
But they're like,
that's
the science is
conjecture.
settled. And I don't know who was screaming it. You know what I mean?
That's a hypothesis. That's not science. That's
right.
One part of science, the hypothesis, but it's not the whole scientific method.
No, and that's the problem with, me subscribing to everyone is I get 30 different messages and I'm trying to decipher what the hell's real. Speaking of which, I don't know as much as going on as you, but this whole, first it was a hitman, then it was the attorney, and then it killed the son because it was aiming at the dad.
So federal judge in New Jersey, somebody showed up at their house yesterday dressed as a FedEx delivery man. Rang the doorbell. I believe it was the husband who answered the door. Husband was shot. Kid came running. Kid was shot and killed. The judge was actually down in the basement at the time.
What was the judge? The judge was important for a
well,
reason.
So the immediate conspiracy theories that came out, because of course everything has to be a giant conspiracy, is the judge just a few days ago was assigned the case against Deutsche Bank for protecting and hiding the assets of Jeffrey Epstein. And so everybody immediately jumped to, this is totally tied into the Epstein thing. Oh, the pedophile ring. Blah, 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 blah. Well, as it turns out, as the story, and it didn't help matters much when the story came out this morning that the dude was dead. The gunman was found dead by an apparent suicide.
Yeah,
an apparent suicide.
Two to the back of the head, right?
Yeah,
it was.
So that just fueled the stories even further. But now, as the story has evolved, so the gunman was actually a lawyer out of New York who has a case pending before this judge, and this lawyer is a wackadoo. I don't even know how he was still certified by the bar to be an attorney. He has literally they have 2,000 pages printed out of rants about this judge, and he's a men's rights kind of guy. One of the cases that he was trying was he was trying to prove that ladies' nights at bars were unconstitutional.
Get out of here with that.
Hand to God, that's one of the cases.
Does he need me to explain why that exists?
But that's the thing.
It's for me. It's not for you.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's, so I mean, this lawyer was a total wackadoo, but again, nobody's going to believe that. Everybody's going to believe that it has something to do with Epstein. And so that conspiracy theory is going to rage for, weeks now, I'm sure.
Well, everyone wants it to be because of Epstein.
Right. Because, ever since Ghislaine Maxwell, got taken into custody, that's all back in the rage.
She's still alive?
She is.
Yeah. That's shocking.
I do love that meme that had the picture of her and Jeffrey Epstein and said, true love is finishing each other's sentences. I thought that was really cute.
Gross.
But yes, I mean, we'll see. I mean, like I said, I mean, at least right now, it looks like, but then of course you'll have the people that, play the, this guy was programmed to be that guy and he wasn't activated until, the Deutsche Bank case came around and
That's not gonna.
Dude, in the Reddit conspiracy, that exact post is happening right now, and there's already probably 6 different variations of it.
That was the. What's the last one that was the thing? The Boston Bombers, right? Was that the last one?
Or Little Town, or I mean, it's Iron Oxide
celery root, aviation.
What?
No,
we're not doing the main
activating.
Yeah, there's no
just
main
activating
story.
some sleeper agents right now.
I thought that was like the verbal password to shut the podcast off.
Klaatu, Barada, Niktu.
You did bring up. Did you watch Old Guard yet?
Yes. Oh, so good.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I think did I talk about it last week or no? We didn't.
You mentioned it last week that it was good. And then Randy, yeah, I just haven't had the time to watch it yet.
I haven't watched anything because I've been watching Supermarket Sweep like mad.
I'm amazed at the quality for like you think Netflix is like made for TV movie, but this could have been in a theater for sure.
It's legit. You know what else?
Look at that Bright movie they did with Will Smith. They dropped $80 million on.
Yeah, that was
wow.
Okay.
Do you know what movie was completely legit? American Assassin.
I love that movie.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
It was.
I've heard about it. I haven't watched it.
The problem is the kid looked like he should be on like Saved by the Bell and not like a.
Nice.
He was from MTV's reboot of Teen Wolf, and
is that why I recognize?
Then he was Maze Runner.
As the story goes, he proposes to his fiance, or he proposes to his girlfriend at a beach in Mexico, and then a terrorist group kills her, like just opens fire on everybody, and she ends up getting killed. So he spends the next like 3 years training like John Wick, and like trying to say, I'm going against my country, I want to join your group and like blow up America for, so the FBI is watching him because he's kind of doing it sloppily. So he's like so good they end up hiring him or whatever, and
hire a hacker to catch a hacker. Well, no, so I take it back. I watched the first episode of Old Guard. That's the one. That's the.
No, it's
a movie.
Oh, then which one am I thinking of?
This one has Charlize Theron.
Right Guard, maybe.
A group of immortals.
I don't know what. I'll have to. Yeah, I don't know.
Deal with a group of people with antiperspirant issues.
Who knows?
Right Guard.
Something with guard in it. I don't know. Random synaptic misfire. Carry on.
You still want to talk about Supermarket Sweep, don't you?
No, but so you were here when this was a thing. I was not. I mean, you can't scroll Facebook or whatever without seeing stuff about White Boy Rick getting released.
Yeah.
Yay. He's out of jail in Florida now. I guess his girlfriend.
Here's the thing.
Released it.
Back. He's kind of like what I would call like an Andre the Giant person. Like you never really saw him, and the story gets traveled through so many circles that like by the time it comes to you, like we thought he was like this giant kingpin Randy Detroit, like he's like a deity.
Scarface.
Yeah, but then you watch the movie, and who knows how much truth's in the movie, but it's like he was an FBI informant to protect his dad, and they ended up effing him. So it's like.
Yeah, so like I mean, basically, like the actual news stories that I read. So I guess he was an FBI informant at 14, and got
to protect his father because his dad was in shit,
and then got popped at 17, distributing coke.
Right,
and apparently got put under the jail.
But he was in prison longer than anyone for like a drug offense.
Yeah,
like in history.
Well, then he got and then correct me. So then he got released here. But then immediately had to go to Florida because of some car theft ring that he was actually running while he was in jail here.
Again, telephone game. It's all here at this point.
I mean,
anything with him is complete hearsay.
That's why he just got released from Florida, because when they released him here, they immediately took him into custody and took him down there.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do for living? What are you going to do for a living except you're going to do some illicit shit? Like,
yeah,
you're White Boy Rick. You can run my. Car,
because prisons are all about rehabilitation, Bob.
They're
all about making sure you're not a better person.
They're not. But they should be.
They're really not even close.
I'm sure he's going to be an author. He's going to they're going to redo his movie. He's going to do a podcast. Like he's
cool.
Tales from Jackson. I'm sure that already exists anyway.
Probably.
Oh my God. Speaking of which, I'm so angry. I texted the whole Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith thing.
Yeah.
So like the memes have been hilarious, by the way.
Oh, they've been
like there's a song, I think I forget who I sent the song to, but it's when I had my entanglements with August, and I'm like, so I text August and I'm like, how is that not the name of your podcast, Entanglements with August? And I'm like, and he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm like, God, will you please keep up with pop culture?
I'm sure he actually knew he was just being a jerk. Yeah,
because he doesn't want to be entanglements with.
Right.
August.
Although speaking of which, apparently happy 20th birthday, Whiskey in the Jar. They are 20 years old today.
Yeah. That was back around when there was Motor was still a thing, when was it Lush? Right off Joseph Campo. Like that's when there was like all the underground techno places. Because Polish Kevin worked the door there for like 10 years. I think it was Lush. I know that's his name, Polish Kevin. There's like
dude, and I got to tell you, like it's crazy again. So we've got the Detroit studios back open, and going down there with shows, and like Cass Corridor is back, kind of like Cass Corridor was 10 years ago. Like there's nobody there. Like there's nobody really walking around. There's like it's weird. It's just. Like I got used to, because I used to go down there back in the day too, but I've kind of gotten used to it over the past couple of years where there's always people out walking around. There's always the little electric scooter things flipping around. I feel for the places that are open because goddamn, yeah,
they just rolling in the burbs, because the parks and everything are, I don't want to say they're packed, but and that's the thing. Like we've been hanging out at the neighborhood pool because of the kid.
Yep,
and it's got capacity was 82. It got dropped to 41,
and no diarrhea, so you can't go in. So yeah,
no, I know. I go, God damn it, diarrhea signs up. I can't go in. It always. Everyone want to make a 6-year-old laugh. Just say, Annie, you can't go in the pool. You got diarrhea. Dad.
Nice.
No, but like there, 25 people there, and it looks packed because they took out half the chairs. You know what I mean? So like no one.
Right.
But like Paint Creek Trail is packed. The Clinton River Trail, like I see people like I don't know if it's just a burbs thing where everybody's, riding their bike instead of going out now.
Instead of heading out. Yeah, it's possible. I was watching, Eric Thomas was posting last night, and he just said, why is it impossible to find like anything like Grubhub, DoorDash? He's like, nothing in the city delivers after 9:00.
No kidding.
And but it wasn't like that for a while there.
Places, I know. That's what I'm surprised.
Yeah. So it's nobody's open, nobody's delivering. Every place is shutting down at 9. Even at DSC when they're open, when they're trying to stay open, I think on the weekends they're starting to stay open until midnight. The kitchen shut down at 10.
Dude, you remember when we would go down there for events that wasn't a non-baseball game night?
Yeah.
And like shit was closed at 10. Nothing.
Oh well, we walked. Well, God, the time we walked out of the state for Kevin Smith's thing, and the bar next door was closed.
Yeah.
We had to walk 3 blocks to find an open bar.
Oh yeah.
And we passed like 6 closed ones.
But that's my adult life in Detroit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If there wasn't a baseball game,
but it was getting better. That was a few years.
Yeah. Oh,
like it had been getting better. And heaven forbid, we wind up taking a step back on the whole opening thing, and places get shut down again, because I don't think they're going to, even the ones that have somehow found a way to make it this far are not going to make it.
Dave, I have breaking news. While I love the fact that MLS is on TV again, like Bundesliga's already done, the Italian league's on, like soccer's on right now. And on the big scoreboard, I just happened to glance over. I wasn't even looking for this. On the big scoreboard, there's 8 like Zoom shots of fans cheering.
So they've like zeroed in the cameras on the people.
It's like this. It's like our little podcast right now on the big screen going like this. Yay!
That's amazing.
But I'm thankful that they are entertaining us again. But that's the thing. Are they? I wonder if they're pumping in crowd noise. I'm not going to turn it on. But
and just speaking of that, like I'm still trying to figure out, like, because I just taking a drive and running errands and stuff. Like, how in the hell are like high school teams already out on fields and shit?
They can't scrimmage, can they?
I don't know, but how are, like, if the pros can't even figure this shit out, how Why do you have high school kids out there?
Well, Maggie practices every day, but they can't scrimmage, which is kind of weird. But they're like, you know how 13-year-old girls are. They're all like, oh my God, and hugging or whatever. You know
Right.
what I mean? But like they can't scrimmage. So like they're just doing drills. So I don't know. The funny thing is like Tulio, I was talking to Tulio on Saturday. He's so starved for sports. He was watching Korean baseball the other day. Like it's gotten to that point with a lot of sports, but like they're betting on stupid shit.
Well, and
Like,
well, yeah. I mean, but actually, speaking of Korea, and this ties into the whole school thing. It's something that just came out kind of late. See, to part of the whole like schools reopening thing. Everybody's, and we talked about this with Fred. Everybody's been like, "Oh, kids don't get it," and I'm like, "Well, you really don't know that because we locked the schools down really quick and took all the kids out of it, so you don't really know that." There's a study coming out, that came out of South Korea, yep, they know for sure that at least kids age 10 or older are just as susceptible to catching, passing it along, and everything else, because that's the age range they've allowed to go back so far, and they have seen a surge in that age bracket. So I mean, it's
well, that's the thing that drives me nuts is they're like, oh yeah, kids under 5 don't need to have masks. I'm like, bullshit. If I'm going to send.
See, and to me, I think that's that's a cover your ass thing, because there's no way in hell a 5-year-old is going to sit there with a mask. Like, you just know that's not going to be a thing.
Annie wears it when she goes into 5, like Boner went to Five Below.
Well, okay, but for how long? And that's not sitting still.
She thinks it's wearing like goggles in her nose plug in the pool. Like, to her, it's just like I'm wearing it to go into Five Below, and then she buys a Barbie with crutches on it and mocks me with it. Like,
my thing is, like,
so we've got a comment in the chat. This is not only are they scrimmaging, she's got friends that are packing their kids up and going to road games. So there are not only scrimmages going on, there are games going on already.
Gross.
See,
my thing is, people are ignoring the fact that kids aren't the only people at schools. Like, there's teachers, staff, everybody else at schools.
That was one of the things that Fred was talking about is, your average teacher is 50 plus, so in a higher risk group, and you look at, all the stuff that's coming out, even in our school district, there was a meeting going on earlier that I couldn't pay attention to because I had shows going on. But like they're going, basically all out hybrid for middle school and up, where it's, mostly virtual, pop in for tests, that kind of stuff. But for elementary school, it's either you are all in and our classrooms are full, or you are out and you are virtual. And it's not going to be the same teachers, it's not going to be the same classrooms, and they've divided it up into, I think it's trimesters if I recall correctly, and basically said, oh well, and if things do, and you do have the option to go into the classroom, assuming there's a spot open for you. But if you want to, the school for my kid is at the end of our street, but if that's full, he'd wind up having to go God knows where, and so what's that going to do to busing routes? What's that's going to do to anything else? And like the one thing that I'm surprised nobody has really tried to push hard now is the concept of year-round school. And just doing that for,
because we're not farming anymore.
Well, yeah, well, right there with daylight savings time. See ya. Yeah. But just the whole concept of that 4 weeks on, 2 weeks off, which to me makes sense because worst case scenario, if somebody pops somewhere in that 4 weeks, you've got a 14-day quarantine isolation period built in at the end of that to help it go away and die down. Yeah, I mean,
do you think that industry is going to get legs? By the way, the teacher that quits her profession and then takes on the 10 kids to teach at home and charges.
Oh, I absolutely think it will. I know people that are doing it. Especially when you look at, so I think we might have talked about this last week. Like the average retirement rate at this time of year is like 1.8, 1.9%, and it is currently 9 to 10% this year.
Is there any regulations they have to abide by? Can they legally do that?
If they are
if no one knows what I'm talking about, it's Dave posted something a while ago, like saying, hey, why doesn't a teacher just quit, take on 10 students, charge them $250 a week? They're not going to work year round. So it'll be like 40 weeks, but it's still $100,000 a year, and it's more than they're making.
Yeah.
and it's probably a lot less stress on the teacher and it's a lot less stress on the kids.
Well, and I'm sure you.
Um,
Well, yeah, I don't believe schools have a non-compete.
No, I just didn't know if because I know you could do there's curriculum through K-12. I have friends that are homeschooling now.
Yep.
That
Well,
they
and
get
and so to me,
legitimate-
that's almost it almost seems half-assed to me. Like, why do you as a school district, other
Me?
than the
Oh.
political and no, you as a school district, other than the political and financial ramifications, where you want to inflate your numbers, why even try to offer online schooling? Why just hey, look, we're a school. If you're not coming to the school, go to K-12, go to or if you're not adopting our virtual model and you want something else, then go someplace else. It's such a weird time for me, for this shit right now.
Well, it's a monopoly anyway. They don't want school of choice. Charter schools are the devil. So I mean, you know what I mean? It's just a weird the whole thing. You know what I mean? If you live in this area, you have to go to that school. Like that, what are those days numbered? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. Well, and God knows I sure as hell, but and that's like, to me, like, that's what I'm kind of looking for from them, is like, there should be certain things that you as a school district already know. Like, you're not doing lunches in the cafeteria. You're not doing, gym class and that kind of stuff. So what are you doing with, the cafeteria and the gym and all that stuff? Like, are you setting up, socially distant classrooms in there to like try to help things out? Are you, what? Yeah, I haven't seen any of that stuff come out, and I don't get it.
I don't get any of it. How are they going to do anything? You ever see a hallway during break? How are they going to do anything?
Well, and so, yeah, that's the thing is, well, and so that's why I think it's predominantly, that's why I know for sure, like the middle school, high school thing where they do a lot of changing classes and that kind of stuff. That's why they're going like mostly virtual. But like I said, dude, elementary, yeah, like especially like, kindergarten, first grade, second, they're all in the same classroom all day. So that's not really a big concern. But there's no talk of downsizing the classroom sizes. I mean, like, I know, like, my kids' school, their kindergarten, first grade, second grade classes all had 32, 34 kids in them, if I recall correctly. And like,
That's a lot.
And they don't do desks. Like, they have tables set up and all the kids are sitting around the tables facing each other. It's like, and kids cough like this. So, it's not, it's not like that's, it's really weird. I think I'm sure you've seen the meme where it's the woman with like the same crazy face 3 times, and it's, looking at in school, looking at virtual, looking at homeschooling, and all 3 faces are like,
oh yeah, totally. No, it's true. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, like you shit in one hand, poop in the other, and
Well, and you do, and you worry about, your kids' socialization, and you worry about, all that other stuff, and you worry about, like, my daughter's really into, band and theater. Welp. For sure, theater's probably not happening this year.
No, high school theater is happening. Gretchen already did something this summer.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So yeah, she's in middle school still. So
yeah. So high school, and that's the thing. Like, they're talking like putting the sports backwards, and you can't because some of them just don't line up properly.
Backwards, I don't follow.
Doing the spring sports in the fall, because they're different. Like playing football in the spring, bringing like
trying to like maybe hoping it'll just be better by then.
Bringing baseball, yeah, because the baseball's not as
they're more distant. You're not touching each other all the time. I mean, that would be logical,
but like it doesn't work. I think some of the oddball stuff like lacrosse or whatever it doesn't line up, because I know like soccer is the same as football season. That's not a big deal. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, Nicole Johnson Shuffler just chimed in, and she was like, don't forget about concerts. I mean, if I don't have to go to a concert this year, I'm okay with that. I like that's those are always crazy. But yeah, packing all of the parents into the auditorium full of all those kids up on stage. Maybe we just do like Zoom concerts, and we get them all together on Zoom and let them synchronize that way. I'm
surprised more people, more bands.
That would be
wasn't
awful.
the only band that was oh God, why can't I think of my brain is shot today. Why can't I think of the name? It's the only band that did a live concert was
the Great White Guys?
No, not the Great White Guys. The ones that did the online concert for everybody. Like on St.
The
Patty's Day.
Dropkick Murphys.
Thank you.
Yeah, they've done a couple of them so far.
But I haven't heard of anyone. They're all just guest hosting on Jimmy Fallon and
well, and some of them have done like Tears for Fears, like re-release some stuff, and they're in their different homes and that kind of thing. So I mean, there's been some of that going on, and that's kind of cool. But I mean, it's.
Hey, we don't have to change our name, do we?
Why?
Just checking. Everyone else has to these days. So, like,
I don't think we've offended anybody yet enough to.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, we've probably offended people, but yeah, no.
Well, because that's the big talk in sports right now is what are the what are the Redskins names going to be?
I told them, I pulled up the post 8 years ago. I told them to change their logo to a potato and just shut everybody up, and then you'd still be the Redskins, and you're the potatoes, and then
it's not even just the professional team. There's like hundreds and hundreds of high
college
schools
level, and
that's their name. Yeah, I think didn't Paw already change it to the Red Wolves, which was a horrible beer in the 90s, by the way.
Hey, I've always wanted Virginia Tech to change the name of their team ever since I found out that a Hokie is a castrated turkey. Because I mean, like, why? Why would you name your team that? Why?
Well, that's the Wayne State changed from the Tartars, and like you had to Google what a Tartar was, and it was like a barbarian.
The guys that made sauce.
Yeah, exactly. The Genghis Khan.
I was gonna say the Tatars.
But like the Warriors, it's so much better. Like that's my thing with this whole cancel culture is now if you have to Google something to find out if you're offended or not, like just put it down, put the spray paint
so
down.
that was actually one of the stories we didn't get to. Is there was a very, very well written op-ed piece about is cancel culture impacting free speech, and is it detrimental to free speech, and we've all seen it in Facebook threads and all that kind of stuff, where like if you voice an opinion that someone gets offended by, you get lit on fire, and it's and it's one of those things where like I don't like that delineation between it's okay. Well, I mean, you getting offended by something and something being capital O offensive are two different things. Like that, it's and we've talked about that. Like we hate using the word safe space, for geeks when we talk about our events, because that term has kind of been PC'd to death. Like.
But there's a huge difference between like Paula Dean's butter-eating ass saying something 30 years ago,
right,
versus like what Nick Cannon just did. You know what I mean? It's like, he just said it now. You know what I mean?
Well, like, and it's funny because and actually what he said dovetails into that show that I was telling you about on Hulu, Hate Thy Neighbor. That was one of the episodes they did was with the Black Israelites.
Yeah, that's a fun group. We should have them over for drinks sometime.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
No, but like that's the thing. Like they're bringing out all the shit. Like Rogan's got an edited clip. Like if you listen to Rogan
from
lately,
10 years ago, yeah.
If you listen to Rogan lately, that's all he talks about is great. They're gonna isolate that clip in some shit YouTube channel.
Yep.
But like the Jimmy Fallon thing, and the doing Karl Malone and there's Jimmy Kimmel or what, I don't know. I can never get those two right.
And like we've always pointed out, and yet still nobody's offended by white chicks.
I am, because the movie sucks. Do you know that's like my mother's two favorite movies?
And we can't get Cracker Barrel to change their name.
I will mark my word. My mother's two favorite movies are Jack and Jill with Adam Sandler and White Chicks. Like every time we come over, like she acts like I'd never heard of it. And she goes, "Bobby, you have to come watch the White Chicks. It's very funny." I'm like, "No, it's not funny." My mom doesn't talk like that.
Nice.
78-year-old woman, that's her favorite movie. Like I guess whatever, if she doesn't care, like that age,
yeah,
like,
exactly, who's
going to but no, again, what filtration system do things are going to have to pass through now to be okay? You know what I mean?
Because, are you ever going to do anything live ever, because you want to record it and then listen to it again before it goes out?
No, you got to put it in front of a panel.
Right.
Like, it's going to be like the like the UN panel of are you offended? Nah. Okay. And go, 30 people.
We'll give everybody a bell, and if you hear something offensive, ring bell, and then we'll stop it there and dive in.
Well, I feel bad. Here's the thing. I feel bad most for comedians because that was supposed to be, that's their shtick. That's been their shtick going back to comedy, period. It was the jester was allowed to offend there was the only one that was allowed to offend the king without getting beheaded because that was his job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you said that before, whatever.
They are supposed to push the envelope, and there are some jokes that are in bad taste, and there are some jokes that make you cringe. But
like, I don't know if you follow Andrew Schultz. He's one of my new favorite comedians, but he's been doing a lot of just sitting in a studio making fun of society.
Okay.
Just like, it's not stand up, but because he's alone. But he, some of his points great, some of them not so great. But like he's definitely worth the follow, worth the listen. He's the best at, he knows like anyone's race. Like he'll pick out, like if you're from India, there's like whatever, there's like 6 different regions of India whatever you're from. I'm just making this up because I don't know. Like he'll know which one you're from and like have jokes about that region, like the sub-regions. You know what I mean? Like he picks apart every ethnicity. So he's like scared shitless right now that I can't do my job. But I've never been mean about it. He's never been like hurtful about it. He's just cracking jokes.
Whereas Greg just chimed in on the live and said, damn well and good that it'll just be somebody's goal to get as many bells as possible and release it. Like that's yeah.
True story. It's true story.
Well, God, we talked about it. Like, how fast did like the Aunt Jemima bottles become collector's items? Like how?
But how about now though? Does anybody give a shit now?
No.
It was like a 4. Remember when the Aunt Jemima thing came out and they were like $50 on eBay? And I go, you got 3 days, and then nobody cares.
If you can sell them in those 3 days, God bless you. But yeah. No. But yeah, dude, I've got an old Redskins jersey sitting up in my closet. From back in the day. Is that now a collector's item even more so? Like, is that what? And do you have? And I guess that's how it's how far do you go with it? Like, do you have to go back and change championship records? Do you have to, or is it just or is it like what was it, the Tennessee Oilers became the Titans? Like I don't know if anything went on with that or not, but
the Washington Bullets had to change.
Yeah, that became the Wizards. Yeah, right. I remember because bullets were offensive to the. Yeah, I remember that.
To who?
To people that were shooting people, apparently. It didn't portray the right image for the nation's capital. If they only knew.
That's it's still one of my favorite memes is the grocery store picture, and it says crackers love cheese, and it's this blonde white chick like I'm offended.
I'm sorry, we prefer Caucasians.
You know what? Every time that comes up on my feed, I'm tempted to buy it, and I never do. The Cleveland Indians shirt, and it's Caucasians. It's been out for a while. And I came this in, I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. That was like when I wanted to buy the Michigan Republican shirt and just walk around Detroit for a day just to see how much hate I get spewed. Even though I'm not, I just want to see how everyone get mad.
Just to see how everybody reacts, of course.
Loser, you're stupid.
And again, like I said, everybody's just looking for a little conflict right now because we're bored.
It's the Bill Burr thing. He just wants to wind up the top and then watch people's heads explode.
Right.
Like it's been
throw the firecracker at the anthill and then just see what happens. Yeah.
It's been a hobby of mine for years. But what are you gonna now I can't run away because I got these damn crutches, but whatever.
All right. I think that about wraps everything we got.
Yeah, I'm just looking now. Stadium attendance plans for the football. Jets and Giants, no fans. Packers reduced capacity and then 20% capacity at a few other stadiums. So stadiums are coming out with plans now.
Well, and I saw something come across from U of M. They're talking the Big House will be at most 50% capacity.
Dude, 50% capacity is not even comfortable there. That's the worst place to watch a football game.
Yeah, no. Well, and how sad is it that now is probably the worst time in the entire free world to go, hey, I got a skybox, or hey, I've got a sweet. I don't want to be around people.
Well, that's a U of M's game. It's like, how would you like a man's knees around your head while you have another man's head in between your crotch?
Right.
No, don't answer that, Randy. Well, you know, it's the worst. It's the worst experience.
Right.
Like me and Mark sat next to each other, and and it was like we ruined the whole row because there's no seats. It's bench. You know what I mean? It's park bench.
Dude, I remember going to like see Kevin Smith and Shatner and those like with the two of you
Oh,
or football games with like, dude, anything involving the two of you was just not a comfortable. Like that's why like every time every Star Wars movie, I buy like 2 extra seats just so that we have gaps.
there's that my favorite picture, the one in the Lions game with Tulio in between me and Mark. Took the selfie. It's like this wee little man in between these two big burly giant men.
Yeah, it's not comfortable. It was not good.
Yeah, so like 50% of U of M, that's going to be barely comfortable, just normal.
Well, and I would be surprised if they even went that high. I mean, it's
no most of what I just read says 20%.
Yeah,
and I could, you know, again, it's, you know, as long as it's not like pro wrestling where where you have like 8 randos that like just scattered around with masks on.
Yeah.
Like just don't even bother having anyone at that point.
Well, and that's like I'd be curious if like they've done any studies or anything like that about like acoustics or any what's the minimum you need to have like a decent crowd noise come through on TV? Like what?
Just watch what the English did, you know, with English soccer. It's I was gonna say it's brilliant, but I'm like, I don't want to use their word. It's great what they do. Like how like it feels like you're like if you didn't look up at the crowd, you'd think you're watching a regular game. You know?
On TV, right? I'm talking about like actually like in the stadium itself.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't give everyone like a big huge flag and a smoke bomb, then you can't really tell.
Vuvuzelas for everyone. There you go.
Yeah. Megaphones. You know, yeah. I'm down. Well, anyway, hey, up for wrapping this up.
Yeah.
All right, kids, we're going to wrap up this episode 357 of the IT and the D show. On behalf of Bob, Dave, and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.
See you guys.